Hello Leo, Happy New Year! This is Grace and this is your yearly reading for 2017. I actually have another yearly reading for you which is in the birthday readings. So you might want to compare the two. That one's much more detailed. But this one is an overview of issues. And if you have made some changes in your life that have changed the birthday reading for you, then this will bring up those things too. So I just want to tell everybody this is a general reading. And so it may not apply to everybody. And of course, you are the creator of your life. So you're going to make changes anyway in some respects. But this is going to show you how the energies are forming in your life and where they're going, and give you some good advice about, some choices that you can make. If you'd like to get a personal reading from me, you can go to my website, sunqueenastrology.com, or you can go to the links below. You can email me. You can also check me out on Facebook. I do daily readings on Instagram. Lots of other good stuff on the channel that you can look at. Okay, so let's see what we have for the first quarter of the year. We have the Three of Scrolls for you. And you see this fox and he's looking over some scrolls. He's got a tear falling out of his eye. And it represents a struggle of a decision that has to be made that is painful, or separation from someone. Sometimes it can be an illness. So the year, January, February, March, there could be some sort of a difficult decision that you have to make that seems like there's no right answer for you. It could be a separation or a breakup. But it's something that causes some pain, possibly. It may not be you. It could be happening to someone else. But you're involved in it somehow. And then, since it's right at the beginning of the year, chances are you would know what it is already or have a suspicion. If you're in a good relationship, you're certainly not going to break up immediately at the beginning of January. That's not going to happen, for most of you anyway. But if you're in a relationship that's already rocky and you are already thinking it may not last, this may be a situation that is the last straw. And I'm actually getting the message that you call something quits. You call it quits is the phrase I'm getting, calling it quits. Whatever that is, I don't know. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's some diet plan you were on, something where you decide that it's just not going to work for you. And I feel like there's an ending of some kind. So let's see, the next card for April, May, and June. We have an excellent card. This is a Major Arcana card. In this deck, it's Psyche. This is the Chrysalis Tarot, but it's the World card. And you can see this woman, she has the sun behind her, and she has these beautiful butterfly wings. There's another sun down here, it looks like, and it's just a gorgeous card. But it represents completion and renewal and being able to be complete in oneself. In this deck particularly, it's a very good card. So something does end with this Three of Scrolls, and I think at the beginning of the year it's a little bit painful or difficult, but you're headed somewhere excellent with the Psyche card. So you have a feeling of completion. Things are going to be well, you're going to feel like you've achieved something, or you're going to feel like you've gone over some sort of hump where things should be better for you. For some reason, every time I want to say things are going to get better, there's like something holding me back. So we'll have to look at the next card, but this card is an excellent card, Psyche. And it could represent wealth, it could represent maybe some big achievement like getting your degree if you're at college. It can represent perhaps deciding to get married, or deciding to have a divorce too. It can also represent that, but it would be a good thing for you, represented by this card. So it is an ending and a beginning at the same time, a starting of a new phase. And chances are, chances are it represents some sort of tangible possession or accomplishment, like maybe having some sort of like wealth, for example, or a new job or a new position at your job, like a raise or a promotion, or a status change in a relationship. So then we get the Ten of Stones. Wow. So this is for July, August, and September, the beginning of the second half of the year. And this is an excellent card too. Ten of Stones. You see this like gnome-like creature, and she's holding on to all these crystals, and she has a tree growing behind her. She has a lot of crystals in her hands, so she's got a lot of wealth. Now, in other decks, it shows in a family. This deck, it doesn't actually have the family. So it may be for you that you have left your family. You know, for some of you, you're leaving a relationship, or you're moving. Maybe you're not breaking up, but you're just moving out of the house, or you're moving across the country or something, so you're not close to your family anymore. But it's a really good move for you, because with the Ten of Stones and the World card there, you have a lot of accomplishment. It looks like wealth is definitely coming to you this year. You definitely have more income. You feel more secure. Now, even though it doesn't show it in this deck, it can involve family matters for you in some sense. There could be some of you could actually be getting married, or, you know, moving on. I feel like for a significant number of you anyway, it is the opposite, like it's some sort of moving away or changing state somehow, but there's family, I feel, involved somewhere in this. Maybe you get an inheritance, or maybe you get, maybe you do leave a relationship and you move back with your family. In any case, there's a lot of security and benefit here. Things are looking up for you. You've gone through a cycle. You're going through a cycle this year, where when you get on to the other side, it's by the second half of the year, even before the second half of the year, when you get to the World card here, it's really going to seem like you're going to a whole new phase in life, or a new cycle in life, where things are changed now, and you're moving on, and you're no longer a child anymore. If you're if you're younger, then something happens where you really feel more mature after this period of time, and more in charge of your life. And if you're older, you may be feeling like almost the opposite, like things have opened up for you, and you feel younger. You feel like there's a new start now to your life. I feel like there's some family complications in here somewhere. I don't really know what it's coming from, but family members are complicating things for you in some way. Nevertheless, it's still good for you. Security, money, wealth, accomplishment. Then we have the last 3 months, we have the Two of Spirals, and this could be a new relationship for you. This is a fire card, very active. See the little bird, and their little bird is capturing, I guess, some berries or something, and they've got 2 nests. Can't decide which nest they're going to have their babies, so they're making 2 different nests here. So there can be some quandary in this card about, well, which nest am I going to build? I feel like some of you are literally creating a nest egg, maybe more than one. So you're trying to invest. You might have 2 homes, for example, and have 2, one of the homes you might feel like you need to sell or rent out or something. You might be investing money. You're definitely ending something with these 2 cards. In the middle of the year, you're going through a transition where you have culminated something and you're moving on to something else. You've already accomplished as much as you can in one area of your life. Even though you start out with the 3 of Scrolls, I think you're a little sad about it at the beginning, but it's actually not that bad. It's really good for you. You've already accomplished something and you're at a peak. And chances are you'll continue to benefit from that, but you're moving on to something else. And now at this point at the end of the year, you're wondering, well, what's next? What do I do next? What's the next big thing? And I feel like many of you have achieved some money during the year and you're figuring out, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to invest this? So, yeah, there is some sadness at the beginning, but it does work out for you. Now, this is a general reading, and these are just general energies, so you can, some of you may not experience it as positively, or you may make different choices which make it more difficult, and others may have an even better time of it. So it just depends on your personal experience. We do have some extra cards here for you. I asked the fairies to give you a special blessing this year, and I'm using the Proud Fairy Oracle deck that I've had on the channel before. And we get Mick the Myomancer for you. So look out for the signs this year. Signs like repeated numbers, 1111, 444, both of which mean that your angels are there, and sometimes it just means that they're saying, we're here, you have friends, we're here helping you. Just wanted to let you know. Like and you know, I'm sure a scientist would say there's no proof that that's even unusual or improbable that you would do that. But have you ever had the experience where you will look at the clock, for example, maybe on your phone, and you never look at the clock, or maybe when you do look at the clock, it's always 11:11. But say like the one time that you look at the clock, it's 11:11, and then the next day it's the same thing, 11:11, or something like that. And it's like, why am I always looking at the clock when it's 11:11? Why not 11:02 or something like that? It's always 11:11. Well, that's the angel saying, we're here, we're working with you. And 444 is another angel number, or 44. If you study numerology, you can even just look up the numbers. Like if you see 3s, 3 has to do with creation and creativity and harmony. 2s have to do with relationships and decisions and things like that. So you might be seeing repeated number patterns. Lots of other synchronicities can happen to you. This reading, for example, is using synchronicity to some degree. So it could be something like a tarot reading. It could be also something completely unexpected, like you overhear a conversation and it has some kind of special meaning for you, even though the person never intended that meaning. Maybe you go to see a movie and it seems like, even though it's all an analogy and the movie has nothing to do with your actual life, somehow you see some meaning that answers some questions or gives you some ideas by watching that movie that relates specifically to your personal situation. So lots of synchronicities that can be coming up for you. And these synchronicities are actually going to help you. They're going to help you with these. They're going to be talking to you. The fairies are going to be talking to you, so nature could be involved. If you walk in nature, you might see or hear something, or even just feel when you're walking in nature, the ideas might come to you. You might see things missing in your house. Fairies can play around with stuff in your house. Like one time a fairy did this to me. It was either actually I think it was a particular ancestor that did it. But fairies do this kind of thing too. Like if they want you to stop drinking coffee, they might take away suddenly the coffee maker doesn't work, or the tools that you use to make the coffee are missing. If you need money, you might suddenly lose your keys and have to walk to work, and on the way you see a bunch of money lying on the floor, this kind of thing. So they're kind of leading you along by doing little things that may seem annoying at first, but they're just go with it. If weird stuff happens, just kind of have an open attitude and say, okay, I know somebody is trying to tell me something. I'm just going to be open and aware and pay attention. Okay? But there's going to be a lot of synchronicities and a lot of amazing little things, but they're small. They're very small things that you wouldn't normally notice, like something missing, or something somebody you overhear, or little things that if you're not aware or paying attention, you might not notice. And they're going to be very helpful for you. Maybe that's where you get the money. Maybe one of the fairies is going to tell you how to get the money. Who knows? But maybe you win the lottery or something. Wouldn't that be wonderful, Leo? So then you also have some advice here, all tied up. And this is from my energy oracle cards, which I did have on the Instagram oracles that I do at one point, and I'll probably have them on there again. This woman's all tied up. She's got strings and stuff around her. Her arms are tied, and she's not really to scale. Her head's much bigger than the rest of her body, but she's I think that's actually meaningful that her head is bigger than the rest of her body, because I think this all tied up has a lot to do with mentally being all tied up. Somehow you have locked yourself in, and the advice of the card is saying, I think you have limited your options somehow, and you want to untie yourself. So try to avoid limiting your options. It's time to make changes. It's time to move forward, and don't feel so limited by things. Don't feel like you're stuck in something. I feel like there's a danger of you thinking too much, but they're going to help you. With all these synchronicities, you will be more aware, and you'll be listening for the synchronicities, and that will keep you from agonizing mentally over everything and wondering about things and being too stuck in your head. But it's also going to answer those questions. So here you got somebody all stuck up in their head and they feel like they can't move. And they're like, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, they're going to answer your questions. You just have to be aware. They're going to give you clues. And these kind of clues with synchronicities and even things like tarot readings and stuff, they can be very helpful, but it's not like a fact, like somebody just comes in front of you and says, okay, do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, call this person, go to that place to apply for a job. It's not quite that detailed, but they'll give you little hints. For example, your car could, if you need a job, your car could break down in front of some place and you see help wanted sign there. And it ends up being just the right place for you. So lots of different ways it could happen. But don't get stuck in your head and don't limit your options here. And actually, at the end of the year, you have the 2 spirals where you're not limiting your options. You're actually considering more than one option here at the end of the year. So that's good. And you also have a rune. We have the Sewella rune for you, which is, honestly, Leo, I don't think you could have gotten it. I don't know how you could have gotten a better reading for success. Because you have the World card, you have the 10 of Stones, and now you have Sewella, which is a card of great success. It means the sun or enlightenment. It is power, force. It's got the symbol of a lightning bolt. So it's very powerful and forceful. It often comes up for enlightenment in the sense of really going to a new level of understanding and awareness. If you understand what ascension is or a raising in consciousness, you may be experiencing that this year, where everything seems to start changing for you because you're raising your consciousness. You're actually going to a new level of involvement as a human being. But it could also be on a very practical level where maybe you gain a lot of money and then that moves you up to a new level of living, or you change, you move out of a relationship perhaps, and now you have a whole new life that you are beginning and new options in front of you. Maybe you end a job here and you move on to do something completely new, and you have lots of different, it's actually telling you, remember, you have lots of options. So it looks really, really good for you. You've got an exceptional reading here, Leo, and make the most of it. If you do get this great opportunity of wealth or success or achievement, remember to keep your options open. Don't feel like you can only do one thing. You have lots of different possibilities, and listen to the messages that you're going to be getting. Have a great year. Bye-bye.